Hello and welcome to another guided video from iPFix. Today we're gonna look into the JC touch panel testers, and not to confuse with the DL100 and the DL200 S200 and the DL100 that are for testing whole screen assemblies. These testers are for testing the touch panels. This is an important step to test your touch panels if you are in the refurbished industry, because it will take a lot of work to redo a screen if your touch panel is bad. I have two of the JC testers with me here. One is for the iPhone X and XS, and the other is for XS Max. If I start with the one up here, it's the XS and X model. I modified it to be a tester to test whole screen assemblies. Actually, it's quite easy to do, but I will get to that later. And this one is like it should be, the tester for only touch panels. If we start how it's working, it works by having original logic board, battery, and other components underneath to have, and then have a screen lying underneath here, and then we have the touch panel. And as you see here, this button is hooked up to the power switch, so you can turn it off and on. To do a quick test of a touch panel, you can take your finger and pull up. Easy. If you lose the grip at some point, it means that you have a dead line on the touch panel. There are ways to do a more full test of the touch panel, but this is the first one to do to ensure that you don't have a faulty touch panel. To test the next touch panel, you just open this lock here. It has a magnet inside, and here's the connection pads for the touch panel. Take out the touch panel. Now this one is tested and we know it's good. We have another one here. Put it inside here first, and then down, turn it on. It's always important to ensure that this is correctly fitted. And here you see this touch panel is also fully working. If we should take a look at the device, like I told you, it's meant to be an entire housing with a logic board and all the components inside, but to save the housing, we did a little mod on this one also. To disassemble it, remove these. They are magnets and easy to remove. Open up here, we have a screen. Disconnect the battery. Disconnect the screen. This is how the device looks inside, and like I told you, it's meant to be an whole housing, but we only put the logic board to spare the housing. It's quite simple. We have the battery, of course, and then we have the connector for the touch going here. and then we have the power switch going up here. Very simple. So this is the build of the device, and like I told you, it's very simple build. If you want me to show you this, I can tell you what we've done here also. We've taken the device, and this is not for testing touch panels. It's actually more for testing the whole screen assembly, because as people know who has the DL test boxes, they know that they are not fully reliable. Therefore, you need a real device to do the testing. And on this device, we put an entire housing with battery and logic board as it should be. But instead of using this as the touch panel, we mounted a touch flex. So this device is a very convenient device to use when you're testing screens. If you're in the buyback business or refurbish, it's very convenient to have a device that can test screens very quickly. And this we have here.
Hmm. 2,000 years later.
And then I just needed to put some power on the battery. Sorry for that one. But now the phone has booted, and as I showed you before, this device has been modified to not only be able to test touch panels, but more for a reliable device to test screens. And as you can see here, it has a quick on and off button. And then for testing you can use this one. It's also always a good one to use for testing the screens if it has faults, because OLEDs very often has issues on the panel itself. It's more like a touch panel issue. But like I told you earlier, we are in the refurbish and the buyback industry, and therefore it's very convenient for us if our test device is not we don't feel it's reliable, then we have this one. As it is a real logic board, it will function as a real phone. Mm-hmm. This is a broken screen that we are gonna buy back from a customer. It's very important to test touch carefully, because this will determine the value of the phone. If it has a broken touch panel, then we will need to replace the touch panel like with the ones that I showed you before. And here we got a screen with the dead line, as it's called. So you cannot move higher. Also, to do a quick test, if the phone is in locked mode or another mode, you cannot enter the screen, the home screen, then it could be a very smart trick to just like turn the phone off, and then you can grab this one, and it should not slip at any moment. And it slipped, it means that this screen has a bad line, and we already knew that it had a bad line, so therefore we know this screen has a faulty touch panel, and this touch panel needs to be replaced. I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to break down how we test our touch panels before we are laminating the screens. I hope that you find it useful, and if you have any questions, you are always welcome in the comment section. Have a nice day.